Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Solo Reviews with Trenny. I am Trenny, a part of the duo of Trenny and C, as you guys probably already know. If you're seeing this for the first time and you don't know, check out the Trenny and C channel where we do reviews together. It's a lot of fun and I hope you guys subscribe and click like and all that good stuff. Today we got an interesting one for you. I'm going to jump into it right away. We have the Arran Amarone Cask. This is one of their cask finish single malts. As you can see, it has gotten down there. I've enjoyed it. You know, we've gone back and forth between this bottle a few times. And I got to be honest, it's one of those malts that I had a hard time with, and it's not down to the bottom because it's delicious specifically. It's because I kept on kind of forgetting it. I kept on forgetting what it was all about. And I'm not going to say it's a forgettable malt right off the bat. It's just a bit different, and that's okay. Okay, so a couple of the features that why I went out and purchased this bottle is because the Arran malt is really, really good the majority of the time. I've really enjoyed some of their whiskeys, and they put out some interesting things. This one is also bottled at 50% alcohol. It's non-chill filtered, natural color. It checks quite a few boxes. One of the things, however, that it does not check is it is quite expensive. I don't know if the... Oh, no, it's not in there. Let's see. It looks like there's something in here, though. Oh, it's like old tasting notes. That's kind of cool. Anyway, it's pretty expensive. It's in the $130 range. But it does have some nice features about it. Also, it being aged in an ex-Amarone cask barrel is interesting too, because that wine is very, very expensive, especially here in British Columbia. Let's just see what it says. It's like Christmas. Oh, maybe I'll use some of these tonight. Huh. Okay. Cool. Anyway, put that over there. Maybe I'll steal some glances at it. Okay, without stalling too much, I'm going to pour some in this glass. I usually do not add water to my whiskey, but I do find that this one I like to add water to. It actually opens up a lot of the flavors. I find even though this bottle's gone down quite a bit, I find that a lot of the flavors are quite trapped inside. So you need to give this one a chance, a real good chance, like at least 5 minutes of it just opening up, doing its thing. Don't cover it with a Trenny and C challenge coin, although you should probably get one, because look how cool these things are. They just cover the top of the glass and yeah, trap in the smells. Anyways, so this one, give it some time, let it open up, let it breathe, let that 50% alcohol vaporize a little bit out of the glass, because it is a relatively big blast and singe to those nose hairs, which might not be a bad thing. If you have a lot of nose hairs, it's a good nose hair trimmer, this one. Okay. Yeah, okay. So again, this is one that I've tried quite a bit, and I forget it until I kind of smell it. So it's quite fruity. Rich, ripe, red style fruits. It's also kind of dusty. There's like a dusty smell to it. And I know that because I'm looking at my notes here, and one of the first things is slightly musty. So musty, dusty. Which is usually, I quite like that in a scotch or a bourbon. Yeah, fresh fruit. It's almost like overripe kind of fruit. A little bit spicy. The mustiness actually goes into like a pepper kind of nose. It's you know what it is? It's kind of like the fruit filling of a Pop-Tart. That's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit. So when I say I'm going to add water, I always do my nosing and my tasting neat, because that gives you the grounds of where you want to go, if you want to add more or less water. So in this case, I'm going to just continue to nose this a little bit and have my first sip. Wow. Whew. You know what? I've gotten quite used to a lot of these higher strength whiskeys. Single malt whiskeys, bourbons, all sorts. And one of the things that either I really like, especially in a bourbon, is when it's high proof, it vaporizes on the tongue as soon as you taste it and it leaves all the delicious flavors. This one is really quite hot, I find. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, stand by the Arran Malt. And that's fine, but you got to kind of realize where some of the flaws are and be able to admit them to yourself. And one of them is that this is a hot spirit. It doesn't necessarily mean it was rushed through the still, although there is, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a young spirit. There is no age statement on this, but the other thing is it just might not have had enough of that contact with the copper in the still. Sometimes just that rushing leaves behind some sulfur notes. It leaves behind a little bit of heat. So those are some things. Okay, again, on the flavor. Wow. Whew. Again, it's hot, but it's rich. It's quite viscous and thick. There's toffee notes on there. There's the fresh, ripe fruits on there. There's like a buttery kind of cherry pie, sort of flaky crust taste to it. There's almost, we had this one called, from Tulberdine, or however you say it, from, what's that? What's it called? I think I might have even written down. Oh, Cooper's Choice, from that independent bottler. And there's characteristics that are similar to this, where it's fruit forward. Okay, I am, now that I've had a couple of mouthfuls with it at 50%, I have found actually adding 2 dollops of water in there. So that's like about a tablespoon. And swirled around a little bit. Let it open up, let it vaporize, let it intermingle, or marry, as they say. Yeah, okay. On the nose, it sweetens and softens it right up. The musty dusty is still there, but there's like a trace of, I think the water just opens up some of those hidden flavors. Okay, let's taste this. See, now I'm finding this one so much more delicious. And I think that's why I always kind of found it relatively forgettable, because I tried it neat every single time, and then I always just thought of it as hot. If you get rid of the heat by adding a little bit of water and actually bring out some of the flavors in there, there's like dark chocolate and cocoa, cherry chocolate. A lot of good flavors going on in there. In fact, and I know you guys think I'm crazy now, but I actually think one more little dollop of water is perfect. Get it down to almost like 42% or something like that. You know, there's a lot of master blenders, or the master distillers as well, but when they're tasting their whiskey, a lot of them bring it down to actually around 23 to 25% alcohol, and that is perfect for a lot of these master blenders. So I think there's something to be said about that. These are guys that do it all day, every day, but they think that bringing down and getting rid of the actual alcoholic nip brings out the flavors of the wood, brings out the flavors of the sweetnesses and the oils and different wood sugars, brings out the age sometimes. So I highly suggest, if you haven't added water to your whiskey in a while and you're you know, set in your ways of how you drink your whiskey, and if that's neat, then experiment once in a while. It can't hurt. I have found some great pleasures in drinking my whiskey, adding a little bit of water. And, you know, it usually I find brightens and sweetens the whiskey up a little bit. Sometimes something that's muted and a little flat, it adds some character to it. So, and look at this, non-chill filtered. Look how cloudy that has gotten. That is a good sign right there. Nice and cloudy. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. I am Trenny. Please join us every Monday. We're going to switch week by week. One week will be me, one week will be Clementine. So, you know, click like, subscribe, leave comments. We will get back to you. Let us know what you think, and if there's anything you want to see us review. All right. Cheers, you guys.
Trenny and C, drinking whiskey, describing all the flavors for you and me. Irish, Scotch, bourbon and rye. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why. Subscribe on YouTube.